Democratic Services to correct that record of who was in attendance personally and who was in attendance remotely. Do I have any other concerns on the accuracy of those minutes from the subcommittee or any other members in the meeting? I'm not seeing any hands anywhere. So with that amendment then on the attendance, we'll take those minutes as an accurate record. So we move then to item 3, declarations of interest. So I'm inviting members to declare any interest over and above their interests as members of city, town or parish councils, which are always available for inspection. I'm not seeing any other declarations of interest. So we'll move now to item 4 for public question time. We have received one submission by the deadline of the 9th of April. So we have a question from Georgia Cusack. So I don't know, Georgia is online, I understand.
Yes, hi.
You are. So, Georgia, you have 3 minutes to put your question to us, please. Okay, you're very welcome, as members of the public are always welcome at our public meetings.
Yes, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Dear councillors, I'd like to discuss the agenda point key decision reports on investment property disposals today. More specifically, your sale of the 600 Aztec West site, currently occupied by Israeli weapons manufacturer. In the UK. I'm appealing to you today as individuals to reconsider once the decision you have made to sell this property without evicting Elbit. We're appealing to you to use the power you already hold right now to evict these war criminals. Renting property to war criminals is illegal. A growing number of citizens are becoming aware of these facts and are beginning to hold their local government and officials accountable to this matter. We shouldn't have to, it's illegal. I shouldn't have to tell you either that evicting these murderers might actually make you look good and beneficial for your careers as councillors. You should be using it as a badge of honour for the rest of your career. I evicted war criminals from my constituency. I stood up against a genocide. It's admirable and honourable. It's the moral decision. It's noble and it's adhering to the law. I can see from your agenda you make choices daily that affect the lives and well-being of the people of Somerset. There is care and responsibility to the people of your constituency that forms the core of your work as councillors. And yes, you have to make money to provide the best outcomes for your constituency, but I'm asking you to take into account the people of Palestine today and the horrific Zionist regime that's torturing, raping, starving, mutilating, stealing their homes and their land and traumatizing them for years to come. Trying to sell this site and wipe your hands of this responsibility is cowardly. You appear to have chosen a time for the sale of this particular site. You're aware of what Elbit does and why they pose a problem as tenants. You should be aware of what Elbit systems are doing on your property, even though you have used that excuse that you can't prove what they are doing to not evict. Selling at this time highlights the fact you may be avoiding looking bad because more and more Somerset residents are becoming aware of Elbit. On what this battle tested on Palestinians means, because I'm not sure that you have seen in the mainstream media what it actually means. We're all quite aware of it. We've been watching it online and we're aware that the mainstream majority doesn't actually see what's going on. So Thank you for allowing me to speak. I hope you will take the time to consider as individuals what we're really doing this for, who we're doing it for. I've seen too many children absolutely mutilated by the things that LBS are creating on their sites in the UK. And you should see them too if you haven't already. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgia, and thank you as well to your colleagues for distributing the pictures, some of which I have already seen. I don't know about my colleagues. I hope that you can now allow me to, respond to Georgia Cusack's question, please. So for those who are at home, the cameras may not show that there are members of the public with a banner with many names across the front of the room here. So standing peacefully with the banner, and I will now members of the public are always welcome to put questions to the public of this, all the public meetings of this council. So I have a copy of the letter that was sent from the Public Interest Law Centre on behalf of Palestine Action to Somerset Council, dated the 27th of February 2024, and the response from the interim head of legal services for the council, dated the 18th of March 24. I do not believe that the council has received further response from Mr. Heron on behalf of PILC, although that would be welcomed. So my colleagues and I, including Councillor Bill Revans, the leader of council, do understand and share the concerns of people across this country and indeed the wider world regarding the dreadful conditions for civilians in Gaza. As a Liberal Democrat administration, we look to the national leaders of our political party, particularly as the deputy leader of the Lib Dems, Layla Moran MP, has family in Palestine. The leader of the Liberal Democrats, Sir Ed Davey, has made public statements recently, and I ask you to give me the time to allow me to read extracts from those statements now. On the Ed Davey's statement published on Twitter or X, whichever you prefer, included, quote, "The UK government must take swift action to suspend arms exports to Israel," unquote. On the 7th of April, his statement included, quote, "Liberal Democrats will continue to call for an immediate bilateral ceasefire to secure the release of the hostages, get aid into Gaza, and end the humanitarian disaster there, and provide space for a political process, opening up the route to a two-state solution," unquote. Those statements are on Twitter, X, and available for any of us to read. Of course, our concerns are greatly increased following the news over the weekend of escalation in activity the business of the meeting. And in my written reply to your question, Georgia Cusack, I will ensure that the minutes from any of the relevant parts of the public items on today's agenda are included in my written response. I thank you very much for your time joining us online and the time of all your colleagues coming to visit us today and to peacefully make your very